Hi, I'm Kristyn Burtt for LifeScript.com. Age-related macular degeneration is the leading cause of vision loss in Americans 50 or older if left untreated. 92-year-old Barbara Knickerbocker-Beskind is joining us today to talk about how AMD has impacted her and how she hasn't let age nor her vision loss slow her down. Also joining her is Dr. Michael J. Cooney, a retina and vitreous surgeon in New York City. Welcome, Barbara, and welcome, Dr. Cooney.
Good morning, Kristyn.
Good morning.
What is age-related macular degeneration?
It occurs after 50. I was 74 when I was diagnosed. That was a number of years ago, in 1998. It impacts the central vision. I have lost the ability to read, to see my friends and recognize their faces, or see my family. I have to recognize people in other ways, by their gait, by their voice patterns, by what they wear, where they are, and where they happen to be in my building. Age-related macular degeneration is an impact on the vision, but it doesn't define me. There are always ways you can find to adapt and do problem solving around the issues.
Barbara, did you have any specific symptoms before your diagnosis?
No, I did not. I was diagnosed, it was a complete surprise, and I actually had no symptoms that impacted my function for about 10 years.
Dr. Cooney, why do women have a higher rate of AMD than men?
Yeah, there's a number of non-modifiable risk factors for macular degeneration. First of all, your age is one that you can't control. Your genetics play a big role. Probably about 80% of your risk is your genetics or family history. Caucasians have a much higher incidence of that, and it's thought to be due to the lack of pigment in the skin, which is a risk factor. And then you're exactly right that women have a higher risk factor of this too. Now, we don't know exactly why that is. It could be a hormonal issue. But the other issue too is that women tend to outlive men, at least in the United States, so they may be a generally older population that biases that. But we really don't know.
Is there anything women can do to modify their risk?
So the good news is, what we just talked about are things that you can't do anything about. There are things that you actually can do things about that can modify your risk factors. And a lot of those are the same things that you would do to protect your heart. So don't smoke, control your blood pressure, exercise and weight loss are all very important. And then there's this whole concept of nutrition. And eating green leafy vegetables, a good balanced diet is very important. In fact, the National Eye Institute did extensive clinical trials looking at vitamins for macular degeneration over the past 20 years. And they've found that the AREDS2 formula, which consists of antioxidants, zinc, lutein, zeaxanthin, actually slows down the progression of macular degeneration in people who have certain levels of it. And that's become a mainstay treatment for people with AMD, as Barbara mentioned. If you have more advanced macular degeneration, what we call the wet form, there are medicines that are approved by the FDA which stabilize that condition very effectively. But what I have not said, Kristyn, is that we have a cure yet. We're working towards that, but we have a ways to go.
I know Barbara didn't have any symptoms. Is this a typical situation?
Yes, it is. The vast majority of people have no symptoms early on in macular degeneration, which really is part of why we're here today, which is to increase public awareness. And I think one of the key take-home messages really is that everybody over the age of 50 needs to go in for a full dilated eye examination every year to be screened for some of these conditions that you may not know you have, because early detection is helpful. But oftentimes early on, as Barbara mentioned, you can have no symptoms whatsoever. So
Barbara, how does this impact your daily life?
Well, I can't read easily. I can read one letter at a time with a three-power lighted magnifying glass. That's pretty hard to read the New York Times, but I do part of it. I exercise by walking a great deal, but I use ski poles to keep my balance and to make sure that I don't stumble if there's an irregular spot in the sidewalk. I read all the shadows. I read reflections. I read weight and sound and all the sensory information I can get to adapt. It's a problem-solving task. And if you can solve problems, as you will, you'll have to be a problem solver in aging anyway, but loss of vision or low vision, as I have, means you just adapt more often.
Dr. Cooney, where can people go for more information?
So there's a great website, joyofsight.com. and join the online conversation there with hashtag #WhyIFight.
Barbara and Dr. Cooney, thank you for speaking with us at LifeScript today.
Thank you.
Thank you.